Now let's talk about this. This is Bill Cosby, and so his lawyers they want this case thrown out. It's a Riverside County case. It's in California, and I actually know where this city is at. Where this where the woman where she's located says Canyon Lake, which is it's a city, a suburb in Riverside County in the Inland Empire. And so his attorneys want this case thrown out, and so lawyers for Bill Cosby are asking for a dismissal on constitutional grounds of a Riverside County woman's lawsuit that alleges the comedian sexually abused her in 1974 when she was a minor, arguing that she waited too long to file her case. Now, the motion targets plaintiff Judy Huth's reliance on a California statute first enacted in 1986, which revived civil actions for injury resulting from sex acts with a minor committed by a household or family member. The statute was amended in 1990 and again in 2019. Cosby's lawyers argue in court papers filed March 16th that the statute violates the Constitution's ex post facto rule, which applies to laws that either impose punishment for an act that was lawful when committed, or if the law retroactively imposes a greater punishment on unlawful conduct. Allowing this suit to go forward violates the fundamental notions of fairness embodied in our state and federal constitutions, Cosby's lawyers state in their court papers. Now, the court amended form of the statute was introduced less than a year after Cosby was first accused of sexual misconduct, suggesting that the legislator had him in mind when it was passed, the entertainer's lawyers state in their court papers. The legislator intended this law to punish, so it violates the ex post facto rule, according to the Cosby attorneys, who further argue in their court papers that Huth's case, brought in Santa Monica Superior Court in December 2014, had a filing deadline in 1978. Now, she's actually 63 now, and as I said, she lives in a community. I'm aware of where that is in Canyon Lake. It's a gated community. She sued Cosby now in 84. Excuse me, she sued Cosby. Now he's 84 years of age. She's 63 in December 2014, alleging sexual battery and both intentional and negligent infliction of emotional distress. She alleges that in 1974, when she was 15 years old, Cosby invited her and a 16-year-old friend into a house where he convinced her to drink a beer for every game of pool he won. Huth alleges he took her and her friend to the Playboy Mansion and molested her in a bedroom. Now, I'm not going to get into all the other stuff that we already know about with, Andrea Constance and, in the Supreme Court, rejected a request from the Pennsylvania prosecutors to review the state Supreme Court decision, you know. Um, and so I'm not going to get into all of that, but we are looking for a dismissal on this. If you are 15 years old and 16, you know right from wrong. And I will never, like I said, ever, mock real victims. But at the end of the day, why were you at the Playboy Mansion at 15 years old and 16 years old? Why were you even there? Where was your parents at? Why were you out somewhere allegedly with a grown man, and doing all of that, drinking beer, whatever you were doing? And if it really is something that happened to you, you should have reported it at the time that it happened to you. Bill Cosby is 84. You are now 63. And I stand on what I stand on, whether people agree with what I'm saying or not. I am not, condoning sexual assault or assault on anybody, anyone that is a real victim. I stand on that. But however, at 15 and 16 years of age, you had no business allegedly being anywhere at a Playboy Mansion, anywhere near grown men. You should have been somewhere being a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old. And you going to a Playboy Mansion, why would you go to a Playboy Mansion? Why would you even go alone? Allegedly, you're saying he took you and your friend there. But why would you do that? You were 15 years old. You should have went home. You should have said, no, I'm not going to go, and go home. Because at 15, you know right from wrong. At 16, you know right from wrong. Matter of fact, even younger than that, most children know right from wrong. And so a lot of times people get caught up in things because they are groupies. They are super groupies. There are groupies extraordinaire. In canic words, groupie extraordinaire. You know, he referred to Geronda Pace as that. But all I'm saying is, I'm not trying to, bash any real victims. But at the end of the day, come on now, you decide after all these years that you now want this man to face some type of civil suit, because you know you didn't do the right thing and make the right decisions at that time. I don't I believe you were having a good time. You probably was wanting to be part of this little super groupie thing that you were doing. I believe that, because at 15 you should know better. And with this, like I said, there's the liberal feminist movements out here, and women coming forward. But at 15 years of age, you had no business, out there. And now you're 63 and you want, to get whatever you can gain from this. And I think they should throw it out. Now, the other thing is that you're saying that you had intentional and negligent infliction of emotional distress. Did you go and get therapy? When did you go get therapy? See, those are questions that have to be asked. Did you ever receive therapy for your emotional and, in negligent and intentional infliction of emotional distress? Did you go get therapy at some time in your life? Did you tell your parents what happened to you, or your relatives, if you were in the care of maybe not your, some other relatives, instead of your custodial parents? What did you do to make sure that whatever happened to you, that you can get the help you need? What happened here? I mean, because we don't hear none of that. And at 63 years of age, we think about the women that have lied on these men, and they're not being held accountable. But you want Bill Cosby held accountable, but they still haven't held Emmett Till, accused her accountable when she lied. They're not holding, what's her name, Alice Foster Clary, accountable for her participation in human sex trafficking of her daughter. And there's many other people out here, Virginia Giffrey, mother and boyfriend. They're not holding them accountable, and they knew about her going to Jeffrey Epstein's mansion and accepting money. I mean, come on now. I'm not condoning, real sexual abuse and assault. I'm not condoning that. But what I am saying is, these women are not being held accountable, but you're holding the men accountable when you say they did something, but you're not holding the women accountable for lying. And Emmett Till, that led to his death. It led to his death. And what about the man in the elevator doing the Black Wall Street, where a person lied and said this man was assaulting a white woman, in an elevator during that time. So there's so many things out here where people have lied, the women, and they're not being held accountable. And that law should also implicate and include women that lied on men, just like the two females about the Chris Brown thing. And those attorneys hurried up and scattered. But when they thought money was involved, they jumped on it without doing their research. And I'm going to stand on what I'm standing on. And you can leave your respectful comments below. But I'm saying what I'm saying. And your opinion does not necessarily reflect my opinion. I got a disclaimer out here, and this is for education, it's for commenting, critiquing, research, whatever it needs to be for, but all I'm saying is that we have to stand up and we have to speak out against these things. Now, if you are a real victim here, I stand on what I stand on. And if you are a real victim, again, I am going to give you the phone number for the hotline of being a real victim if you are a real victim of sexual assault, you know. Give me a moment here, because I am definitely on my way to getting that number for everyone. And so here it is again, and I am going to put that in the video. I mean, I'm going to give you the phone number. Give me a moment, because somehow, the National Sexual Assault Telephone Hotline is 1-800-656-HOPE, and translate into 1-800-656-4673. Okay? And you will be routed to a local sexual assault service provider in your area. You know, Rain created that, RAINN. And then, you know, there is another phone number out here, but I'm going to just leave it at that, give you that phone number. They are available for you. They will help you. They will talk with you. They will guide you. If you are a real victim that has been sexually assaulted, but someone that they say this happened to at 15 years of old that went willing to a Playboy mansion where grown folks are doing grown folks things with Hugh Hefner, and he's deceased now. But Hugh Hefner and you did. I want to know honestly. I want to know from Miss Hugh. Did you get any type of therapy? Did you get counseling during that time? Did you tell your parents or your legal guardians? What did you do all that time up until now? And you, when the Me Too movement came around and they passed that law and this liberal feminist and all this stuff, what did you do prior to that to get the help that you need? Did you suffer in silence? Did you tell somebody about it? Did they not help you? Did they, say, well, you shouldn't have been there anyway. You had no business there. You know, what did you do? Because why were you somewhere at 15 years of age with your friend that's 16? Why weren't you doing 15 and 16-year-old girly stuff, planning makeup, dressing up, you know, those type of things, hanging out with your little friends, you know, going to the movies, you know, going to get ice cream or a soda. Those are things, or playing sports. Those are things that 15 and 16-year-old girls do. They do not hang out at Playboy mansions. They do not go with grown men that they have no business going anywhere with, allegedly. They do not hang out and drink beer or be subjected and participate in those things. And if you're doing that, it's nothing against the ones that have done it and have made the right choices, or the ones that have done it, but they're not coming back saying they was harmed because they know they did it. They know right from wrong. I am talking about people that sit here and do things and participate in things and then come back years later and decades. These are decades later saying that something happened. But at the end of the day, I think that they need to leave Bill Cosby alone. He served his time. He won his case. Stop trying to try people that's already been tried. I've had enough of this. The same thing with the R. Kelly thing. Stop trying to try people that's already been tried. And salute to Miss Jennifer Bonjean for standing up for her client. I know you got some bombs in the works that you're going to come out and do what you need to do. May God be with you. Keep holding you up. Keep empowering you to be that attorney, that appellate attorney that God has called you. You are walking in your calling. And all them people that have played a part and have lied, your day is coming also. And I am saying it's coming, and I stand on what I stand on. I'm not taking it back. You can leave your respectful comments in the comment section below. And if you do not like what I am saying, please do not travel over here to this channel, because I will stand on the truth. I will face the truth, and I will be the truth. This is my opinion, and no one has to agree with it. And I'm not trying to be harsh, but at the end of the day, our country is in a crisis, and we have got to get control of the crisis of this judicial system and these fake, false prosecutors that need to be disbarred. They need to be unseated, disbarred, and never preach, teach, perform, whatever you call it, law again. And that goes for these corrupt judges that sit on these benches that get here. They need to be unseated, unbenched, and disbarred. They too have played a part in the demise of Black men that are truly innocent. And this goes way back decades. This is not just about sexual assault in previous recent cases. It goes decades back of how judges sit on these and on their seat and allow, and I'm not saying all judges, but allow this stuff to go on in their courtroom, and they do not do nothing about it. And they see the perjury on the stand, and they're supposed to hold people accountable for lying on the stand, and they don't do nothing about it. We are coming to say something about it, because we have had enough of the nonsense. We have got to do what's right in the judicial system. And we have got to stop mistreating Black people that are facing legal, litigation, or legal issues, because the legal disparities are just overwhelming. It's an abundance. It's insurmountable. But we have got to stand up and take a stand and talk about these things, not be afraid to talk about them, not to be afraid to use our First Amendment right, not be afraid to get involved and to stand up. They're going to say stuff. They're going to attack you and say that you're against women and that and that you got issues. But no, let me keep it to you real. Wrong is wrong, right is right. And when you're wrong, we need to stand up for what is right. See, because there's a thing here that we need to look at, and we need to start asking hard questions. We need to start asking the real questions. We need to start saying, well, what did you do all that time? Did you go get help? Did you report it? Did you file a police report? What are some things that you've done to help yourself when you're saying that things happen to you allegedly? And I'm going to say allegedly because I was not there. But if you are a true victim, we are encouraging all true victims to come forward and do the right thing. The phone number has been provided for you. And if you are not a real victim, stop it, because you are going to be exposed for who you are, and your day is going to come. Stop lying on folks. Stop making up things on these men. And you ought to remember that if you have a son, you definitely don't want your own son or male family members to go through fraudulent, fake, untruths in a judicial system. It is difficult because it destroys not only the person, but it, the perpetrator or the suspect or the accused, but it also destroys families when you're not being truthful. And that's what I'm trying to say, when you're not being truthful. So all I'm saying is, if you are a real victim, come forward, please. We want you to get the help that you need. We want your perpetrator prosecuted. We want you to get, justice and vindication. But if you are a fake victim, or you are one that now wants to come forward because you feel that, it's an opportunity for you, because there's a lot of people out here, women, that are looking at the opportunity of financial gain, when some of them, it didn't happen that way. Or, because like we said, we're still in an era of believe all women. You know that we are. We're still in that era. And I get passionate about the things that I talk about because I don't think it's right when people are lying. I don't think it's right that the judicial system is not looking into this further, and how the questions are not being asked. Even in these major news outlets, they don't even ask the hard questions because they say, well, we don't want a victim shame. We don't want a victim blame. But you still got to ask the hard questions to get to the bottom of what's really the truth. And if you don't ask the hard questions, you will never get to the truth. And that's the thing, asking the hard questions. Sure, if it's something that really happened to them, you might be able to see the real pain and suffering and sorrow and the guilt and the shame and humiliation. But if it's these fake victims out here, they can easily be an actor and learn how to cry on command, learn how to cry when they need to cry. These fake crisis actors. And some people took classes on it. They say that, who, I don't want to say the name, but number 5, who that I'm talking about, if you've been following it, knew how to do that because she took classes. And a lot of the things that some of those people came out and said, they told on themselves. They told on themselves as they was running their mouth on social media platforms, Instagram, YouTube, and they still unwilling to take accountability for one of the mothers that played a big part in the human sex trafficking. Yes, she played a big part in it with her daughter. And a lot of stuff came out in that interview with Gail. A lot of stuff came out on the stand. So I salute Jennifer Bonjean, Miss Jennifer Bonjean, for doing the right thing, for taking this case, for standing up for what is right. Because when we get in professions, we take an oath to do what's right, whether you are an attorney, whether you are a prosecutor, which is an attorney, that goes for Kimberly Fox and all of the deputy district attorneys and state attorneys. They're all, that's what they are. They went to school, but they still took an oath. The judge took an oath. If you are a nurse, going through nursing school and you get there, you take an oath. In my profession, I take an oath. We vow to never do no harm to anyone. We vow to do the best we can to be the best. And you have to follow laws. And you cannot manipulate laws up here manipulating laws to get a conviction, using repealed laws to get a conviction, looking at the scales being unequally, totally unequally, balanced, where one scale is so tilted above the other and all that kind of stuff. We have got to do better in our judicial system. So if anybody out there is listening to me that are part of a judicial system, wherever you may be, please hear what we are saying. Do the right thing. And if you cannot do the right thing, then you need to step aside, retire, or find another profession. And if you are still doing the wrong thing, you need to be unseated, unbenched, and disbarred. And that is what I'm saying. And I stand on what I stand on. Leave your respectful comments in the video below. Let me know what you think about this. And don't forget to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And again, my opinion is not necessarily the opinion or reflections of others. And so I thank you for tuning in. And copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Okay, so you know what? Thank you all for tuning in. And again, commenting, news reporting. These are articles that are already out there. So therefore, I am only commenting and expounding on what's already out there. So the information is, in the beginning of the first slide of this video is already there. If you want to go and read the article for yourself, it should already be on the news. And this, again, woman, no disrespect to her, but yes, I said that I know where that area is at. It is in Riverside County. I do know what city and all of that. I don't know this woman, but I do believe that we have got to stand up and do better as women. We have to stand up and do better as men. Men make better choices, better decisions, but women also. We cannot leave out women. We have got to start looking at how women can be held accountable for the things and choices, and parents. If you are a minor, your parents should be held accountable. So God bless you all on today. Peace out and have a beautiful, beautiful day.